Hey yo, welcome back. In this video, I'll be taking some time to discuss the implications of Tesla's product roadmap for 2022, which was laid out during the company's Q4 earnings call. I'll go over what I believe to be some of the key points made, plus how and why this will impact not just the company, but perhaps even our society. So to begin, 4680 battery cell production will not be constrained for 2022. I can't emphasize this enough. This is big news. As we know, the entire world has been affected by chip and supply chain shortages over the past 18 months or so. Elon predicted during the call that over the next couple of years, we'll begin to see a transition to battery-related shortages. He didn't elaborate on why he and the team believe this, but I suspect it has to do with the mix of the influx of EV manufacturers and limitations on battery producers. 4680 reaching production with no constraints is important for this reason. Here's something to ponder. If all other auto manufacturers are struggling to produce and deliver on their EV goals and expectations, while Tesla continues to exceed theirs, what do you think will happen to Tesla's valuation in the market? What do you think will happen to the valuation of other manufacturers? The mentioning of scaling 4680 production also hints at the fact that the production lines of the structural battery packs in the Made in Texas Model Ys are also operational and should be on track to be introduced later this quarter. This will further reduce the cost of producing vehicles, leading to increases in gross margins, which means more money in Tesla's pockets. Next, there will be no Cybertruck or any other new products in 2022. Now, while we received amazing news on the 4680 front, as a Cybertruck reservation holder, I was obviously a little disappointed to learn that it would in fact be delayed into at least 2023. I made a video a couple of weeks back on whether the Cybertruck would be delayed, and in that I explained that it could happen, but that I was optimistic it wouldn't be. Well, turns out the rumors are now reality. As an investor, I understand their reasoning for the delay, and believe it or not, I fully support it. According to Elon, the delays are necessary in order to maintain their ability to continue to scale production of their existing lineup, which will allow overall production and delivery growth during the next year. Ongoing supply chain issues into 2023 are another factor that were considered and would likely decrease total output if resources were being diverted to any new products. They'll also be able to take this time to look toward and prepare for the future by refining the technologies needed to build the Cybertruck at an affordable price to consumers. So depending on how you choose to view it, it'll likely make the most sense in the end. Speaking of refining technologies, the primary focuses this year will be tooling factories and scaling outward. They mentioned during the call that 2022 would be a year focused primarily on scaling outward and tooling factories for production of new products, such as the Cybertruck, Semi, and Optimus Bot. After spending ample time, attention, and resources last year on navigating supply chain shortages, rewriting software for in-house chips, and a litany of other issues outside of their control, allocating a few quarters to refining engineering processes, preparing factories for new products, and so on seems like a wise decision for the company. Most people may not see what's happening, but Tesla is beginning to transition away from focusing so much of their resources on vehicle production. Don't get me wrong, car sales will continue to be a core aspect of Tesla's business strategy for the foreseeable future. However, they'll begin to divert more of their attention to solving FSD and thinking more about all of the various challenges arising related to artificial general intelligence. This is mainly due to their understanding of and ability to produce vehicles and automating that process as much as possible, then flooding as much engineering talent at solving FSD as they possibly can. And speaking of solving FSD, Elon said he believes Tesla will, and be shocked if they didn't, achieve full self-driving this year, with safety much higher than that of a human. Now, there are many who will be quick to point out that Elon has made similar remarks in the past, and Tesla has failed to deliver on those promises. However, I do believe Elon is correct in his assertion this time around, but for a specific reason. If you pay close attention to what he says on the call, he mentions that the intervention rate is steadily approaching the March of Nines, meaning 99.99999, etc. Tesla's already demonstrated through measurable statistics and the FSD program that the technology is already viable. It's now simply a matter of to what degree. So here's a way to think about it. Let's say you have a car in full self-driving mode. If the car has an intervention such that the driver is forced to take over or intervene for any reason, it means that the car did an undesirable thing from the human's perspective. Now, in order to achieve safety much higher than a human, the car must only demonstrate the ability to not require intervention from the human driver. So once you, the car, have reached that capability, how many times are you able to replicate it? Then what we arrive at is a rate of safety much higher than that of a human based on the specified metrics we just discussed. So you see, Tesla's FSD is here. It's a viable product that you have the ability to purchase today. When the masses catch wind of this information, how do you think they will react? So another extremely important topic that was touched upon during the call was the announcement that Tesla would begin prioritizing the Optimus bot, a direct result of solving FSD over other new products. I can't express enough how much I believe people are genuinely overlooking this truly profound idea. As Elon said during the call, the foundation of an economy is labor. Well, imagine if robots are fully autonomous and capable of removing labor shortages from the workforce altogether. What then is an economy at that point? Now, here's where going down the rabbit hole begins. Consider the reason that anything and everything is produced is to be consumed. A fashion designer creates a shirt. That shirt is then replicated and mass produced. Why? In addition to many other things, the designer wanted consumers to consume the product. But for the efforts of this designer, for all the time and resources that went into creating the product that was consumed, compensation only seems appropriate. That is only, however, if consumers would like for the producer to continue to produce that product. So here we find emerging economic value. And this same logic can be applied to anything that involves production and consumption. Most specifically, though, to things necessary for human survival: food, water, shelter, security. But the point is, there are many, many industries that are liable to be disrupted by the emergence of robots equipped with artificial general intelligence, and Tesla has somehow found itself at the forefront of this technology. And again, it isn't as far away as people like to think it is. My advice to those of you watching: be prepared. So that does it for this one. Some really interesting stuff came from this earnings call, but especially from the product roadmap. Be sure to check it out if you're interested in learning more about the direction Tesla has begun to take the company in. And before I go, I'm curious to know what you all think. What do you think the implications of Tesla solving FSD will be? Are you able to imagine a world where humans and robots live and interact with one another cohesively? But with that, I appreciate you for tuning in. I'll catch you on the next one. Peace.